here. His name is Dave Cullen. He is a friend of Chris and Shanann Watts. From what I've read, it's like they moved into the neighborhood right around the same time. They got to knowing each other. As you can see, him and Chris would have a lot in common. They're both very interested in sports, cars, Ford, all that kind of stuff. So, you can see from the picture that him and Chris would have a lot in common. They all have kids, but his kids are older than Chris's, so they didn't really do the play date kind of thing. But he did say and mention that his son would talk to Chris randomly and really like Chris, and his daughter also babysitted Bella and Celeste. It seems like maybe his wife and Shanann didn't really communicate that much from what I'm picking up. And him and Chris did when they saw each other. When he heard about the murders, he actually heard about them through Jeremy Lindstrom. Jeremy was texting Dave, and I'm assuming Jeremy, Dave, and Chris are all buddies. So Jeremy was texting Dave the night of the murders and asking him what's going on with Chris and Shanann. Well, Dave didn't know. So he also went and he texted Chris, and then he called him, and then he just walked down to his house. Since they live in the same neighborhood, he just took a walk down there. And he talked to Chris that night. They went and they interviewed him, and I will have that interview in here as well. And then after that interview, there was more that came up with this guy, and they actually had to do a second interview with him. I hadn't actually heard about this guy or these interviews. My sister sent them to me, and I was like, yeah, I've never heard of him. It does seem like I've read his name in some random articles or whatever, but I really didn't know, I didn't know what was up with him. Well, we're going to find out what's up with him. We're going to listen to his interviews. We're going to find out why he was led to have a second interview. And so, let's just get right into this. Just to know a little bit about who he is. Dave Cullen. It says a third, so maybe he's got more than one Facebook page, or maybe he is a third. It says he's a maintenance manager. He's a military veteran, possesses extensive knowledge and process involvement in operations management, recipient of multiple awards for outstanding performance and professionalism in the United States Army. Well, it sounds like he's a pretty smart guy when it comes to military and law. Looks like this is a picture of him and his wife, and there's some more pictures of them. And so this is who we're going to be talking about. And listen, a lot of you have been into this case, but a lot longer than I have. So you may have already heard this or know about this interview, but me particularly, it's one that I did not know about and I have not heard. You got to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, the boring, the exciting. When it comes to something like this, you have to look at all angles, every bit of it. I'm just going to read this here. This is the actual report. And before we even start on it, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to try to pronounce any of these agents' last names, because I don't know if it's just me, and being from Alabama, I don't know, but it seems like everyone, or almost everyone, especially these investigators, their last names, I feel like I'm just pronouncing them wrong. I'm not even going to try, because I know I'll be pronouncing them wrong, and I don't want to do that. So either way, it says on August the 15th, 2018, CBI agent began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing persons investigation. I was assigned to interview David Cullen, an associate of Chris Watts, and did so at approximately 1:15 p.m. on the same date. Action taken. CBI agent Stacy and I went to the Boulder County Jail, where Cullen is employed, to conduct a voluntary interview with him. At approximately 1:15 p.m., Agent G and I made contact with Cullen inside the jail. An office was obtained to utilize as an interview room. The contact and interview with Cullen was audio recorded, and the audio recording is entered as an attachment to this report. I will play the audio recording just after this. Cullen stated he has known Chris and Shanann for approximately 7 years, starting when they moved from North Carolina to Colorado. He said they both worked at Longmont Ford, and he was doing vehicle reconditioning as his own business at Longmont Ford at the same time. Colin had maintained a friendship with Chris and Shanann and lives in the same subdivision. Colin advised he went to see Chris at the Watts' home on Monday, August the 13th, 2018, after Shanann was declared missing. I asked about the background to the situation, and Colin said he received a text message from Jeremy Lindstrom asking him what was going on with Chris and Shanann. Colin said he found out from Lindstrom that Shanann was missing, as they continued to send text messages back and forth. Colin said he sent a text message to Chris Watts about the situation but didn't hear anything back, so he called Chris to find out what was going on. In conversing with Chris, Colin said he was told Chris went to work and Shanann was missing after that. According to Colin, Chris told him Shanann left her personal items, including keys, at the residence. Colin said the phone conversation occurred at approximately 9 p.m. Colin then walked over to the Watts residence to speak further with Chris. He thought he arrived at approximately 9:30 p.m. Colin and Chris was the only persons present, and that Chris was keeping himself busy by doing housework. I later asked Colin what he meant by housework, and he said the carpet looked freshly vacuumed. Colin said Chris was also making a protein shake. Colin said Jeremy Lindstrom arrived approximately 30 minutes later. I asked Colin what statements he remembered Chris making, and Colin said Chris said he and Shanann were separated and she went to North Carolina for 5 weeks. Marriage was struggling. Colin said he did not know the specifics of the difficulties in the marriage, but knew they had argued that morning, Monday, August the 13th, 2018. Colin had no further details about this argument. Colin said Chris was worried that one of the missing children did not have their necessary medication. I asked Colin what Chris thought had happened and communicated to him. Colin said Chris Watts told him he thought Shanann left the house voluntarily with the kids and was hiding out somewhere. Colin said he thought Chris wanted his kids back and wondered where they were at. Described Chris as emotionally blank about the whole situation. Colin said the possibility of foul play was discussed, but it was not brought up by Chris. Colin said he left after Chris Watts said he needed to lay down, and he and Lindstrom left at that time. After leaving the house, Colin said he has remained in contact with Chris but hasn't heard anything significant about the situation. I asked Colin for his overall impression of Shanann, and he described her as overbearing, but said she is overall a good mother and person. Colin said he did unfriend Shanann Watts on Facebook due to her constantly posting. Colin said Chris was the opposite. He preferred to go with the flow and let Shanann make decisions in their relationship. Colin was not aware of any financial difficulties in the Watts household. Colin said it was his impression that Shanann left on her own regarding the missing person status. Colin said he was not aware of any infidelity in the relationship. Agent G asked Colin about Chris's Facebook account, and Colin said he talked to Chris about that and found out that Shanann was writing the post on Chris's page. Colin said Chris isn't on Facebook anymore, and he did not ask him why. Prior to Monday, Colin said he thought it had been approximately 4 months since he saw Chris, and he said it had probably been about a year since he spoke with Shanann. Colin had no knowledge of the Watts family trying to sell their home. Nothing further. Okay, so now I will go ahead and play the actual interview that this report was made from, and then stay tuned because there's more to this guy.
My name's Kellen Hassenstab. I'm with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and we're assisting the Frederick Police Department on that missing persons case that they're working on right now. And your name came up as somebody that we should talk to that might have some information just about the general situation. So that's why we're here. You know, name on a list. So if you could kind of explain to us how you're involved in this and what you might know about the situation, that would be a good place to start.
By how I'm involved, I guess I'm just friends with them.
Okay.
Met them like 7 years ago when they moved up from North Carolina.
Okay.
I had my own business at the time. I do what's called reconditioning cars.
Okay.
Not here, but it's like dents and paint and window tint and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I worked at the dealership, not for the dealership, my own business that they worked at.
Okay.
So that's how we met.
Okay.
So we've been pretty good friends, and then of course I bought a house, and they said, "Where do you live?" So they bought a house in the same neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
I'm really right around the corner, like 2 minutes away.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I know them.
Uh-huh.
As far as knowing anything about what's going on, not much. I mean, honestly, it's just what Chris has told me.
Okay.
I talked to him a few times. I went to see him that night. I'm off on Mondays. I was actually home. I was actually painting something at that same time that I guess Nicole came over around noon. I think what the news said.
So well, tell us what you remember about Monday. That'd be a good place to start. So.
The only thing Monday that was later at night. I got a text from a buddy of mine named Jeremy, and Jeremy said, "Hey, what's going on with Chris and Shanann?" So I have no idea. What do you mean? He says, "Well, it's all over Facebook." I said, "Well, I don't have her on Facebook." Blah blah blah. I said, "Okay." So anyway, he says, "Yeah, she's missing," and I was kind of like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah.
I just kind of like didn't believe that, and so I text Chris. He didn't reply right away, so I called him, and then he answered, and then that's when he said, he goes, I went to work, and someone came over and came home, and they've been gone ever since, and all her stuff, all her personal stuff is here, everything, phone, keys, everything. I was like, oh, wow, dude. So I walked over to his house just to talk to him about everything, and that's it. That's Monday.
Okay. What time did you speak to him on the phone?
That day?
Yeah.
I have a record on it. I'm thinking 9-ish.
9 p.m.?
Yeah, about 9 p.m.
And I don't think I have your address. Do you have like an ID that I could write down?
I don't. I don't know why. We can get it after this.
No, that's fine. Can you just give me your legal name and all that stuff?
Yeah, David.
Okay. All right. So, is Jeremy just another friend of yours, or who is he?
Jeremy was also kind of all mutual friends from the dealership.
Okay.
It's a Ford dealership in Longmont Ford.
Okay.
Jeremy was a manager there, and I don't remember what his title was, internet manager or whatever. But,
yeah.
He would, excuse me, we're all kind of friends. And so Jeremy, that's when he contacted me.
Okay. So you reach out to Chris by text.
Yeah.
Don't hear anything back, and so you decide to call him around.
Give him a call, yeah, because Jeremy in the interim was texting me, kind of giving me more information on what was going on. So then, of course, I got concerned. I was like, oh wow, what's going on? I mean, so and I didn't hear from Chris, so I called him, and then he did answer. Yeah. And so that's when I said, oh, I'll come by, and that night I went over to go see him.
What time do you think you got there to the house?
To the house? It's a guesstimate, honestly. I mean, but I'd say 9:30ish.
Yeah.
I think you called around. I talked to him called him around 9. And by the time I got off the phone with him and walked over, it's a guesstimate. But say 9:30. Sure.
So you get there, and who else is there at that time?
Nobody's there, just Chris. He was keeping himself busy by, doing like housework and stuff because he said his mind, which totally understood that. Yeah. And then about 30 minutes later, or whatever it was, Jeremy showed up. Okay. And Jeremy, I guess in a sense, just trying to be there for a friend or consoling. I'm not really sure what word to use. Yeah. It was just kind of like, honestly, you're talking about it's like a loss of words. You don't even know really even what to say. I've never been around that, so.
What was Jeremy's last name? I don't think.
Lindstrom, like Lindstrom, I think is how it's pronounced or spelled.
All right, and he's a manager at Longmont Ford now.
He was at Longmont Ford. He's now at a different dealership. He's at it's in Broomfield at Silterhar. Okay.
So does he live in the neighborhood as well then? Or?
He lives in Erie. He's probably 5-10 minutes away. Okay. He's not in our neighborhood, but he lives like you got 52 Highway 52. He's on the
other side by 25.
Yeah, exactly, and the new building, new houses in there.
Okay. So how long do you stay at the house then?
Oh, at Chris's house?
Yeah.
I'm guessing an hour.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, just talking to him, and he said he was wasn't really tired, but he said he just wanted to lay down and try to get some rest or something like
that.
Something like
what do you recall that he was saying about the situation as you kind of reflect back on it?
I asked him, okay, I mean, I asked him what was going on. I was like, dude, you know, and he's like, well, he said he didn't know, but he said that they were struggling in their marriage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He said she went to North Carolina for like 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They did like, I don't know if you want to call it a trial separation or whatever.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, look at my radio. Turn it off. Some kind of trial separation for 5 weeks or something.
Uh-huh.
She got back. I guess they kind of talked and tried to work things out. I don't know the inner workings of why they're fighting. I don't.
You don't know what you didn't know what the difficulties in the marriage were.
No, I have no idea. I don't ever. Everybody's got their own thing. I don't get involved in his. And then he said that they did have a disagreement or an argument that morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously that's when something.
Yeah. Did he say what that disagreement that morning was or anything like
No,
that?
he didn't like give me any details on what. Just that they're not getting along or something. Just just
Mm-hmm.
typical. I just how I took it as typical.
Yeah.
People how they are.
Anything about the kids that he bring up or mention that you remember?
No, nothing other than he was worried about, like, I think one of them has to take meds,
Uh-huh.
and there was no meds taken,
Uh-huh.
like, from the house that
Right.
he knew of, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing he's worried about with the kids,
Mhm.
other than being gone.
What did he think had happened at that point?
His speculation was that she left with somebody, doesn't know who, because I did ask that question. I said, well, who would she leave with? I mean, is she seeing somebody? What's going on, dude? And he's like, he goes, dude, I don't know if she's seeing somebody or what. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what all the truth is there, but all I know is his speculation was that she left with somebody and
Uh-huh.
she's hiding out somewhere.
Okay.
Not, I don't think abducted.
With the kids or without the kids?
With the kids,
Mhm.
yes. Yeah, with the kids.
So left voluntarily with the kids.
Left voluntarily with the kids and I asked him, I said, do you have exterior cameras?
Uh-huh.
Does neighbors have exterior cameras? And they didn't just vanish, so someone pulled up or somehow, I don't know if they went out the back or what, but that was my question to him. He goes, he didn't have exterior cameras and he didn't know if his neighbors did.
Mm-hmm. So how would you describe his mind frame at that time? Was he thinking it was going to be resolved? Was he upset? Was he?
Yeah, I think he was thinking it was going to be resolved, and I think he was thinking that, if I had to guess, he never said this, but that obviously he just wants his kids back.
Mm-hmm.
Is the way I was taking it. I mean, he was concerned for anybody's well-being for sure, but he was just worried about his kids and getting them back, and
Mm-hmm.
and I guess where they're at.
Yeah.
His biggest thing was where are they at?
Yeah.
So I mean, are they hanging out in the neighborhood? Did they get in someone's car and drive out of state?
Yeah.
According to him, he had like no information at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why y'all are involved.
Yeah. What was your perception? Did he whether he was surprised that something like this had happened? Was it a shock to him? I mean, what do you remember about his emotions?
He was pretty blank.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, he was not like oh, I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. He was blank about the whole situation. About like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why she did this.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, I mean that's it.
Uh-huh.
And he's just kind of like blank about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if
Did
that
he bring
explains-
up like foul play or the possibility that something
I think
dangerous or violent had happened?
I think it was discussed. I don't think he brought it up. I
Uh-huh.
think it's just I don't know if it's like typical conversation when something
Yeah.
like this happens, but when Jeremy was there and we're talking, we're kind of talking about this is like what are the odds of someone being abducted in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, and that's kind of where I said with exterior cameras,
Yeah.
not just maybe someone pulling up like that, or maybe. So he never really brought foul play up.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, discussed through
Mm-hmm.
kind of, if you want to say, process of elimination,
Yeah.
trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and you had mentioned he was doing some housework. Do you remember what that type of stuff was, or?
He was? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It looked like the carpet was freshly vacuumed,
Uh-huh.
and that's the only thing. I guess the house, they usually keep a pretty neat, tidy house, so I
Yeah.
can't really say everything was put away nice, because they usually do. But it looked like the carpet had been freshly vacuumed. I mean, it had the lines from the vacuum.
Yeah. Any like cleaning supplies out or things of that nature?
Nope, the only thing I saw him doing, he was making a protein shake.
Yeah.
And just talking, and then he got a phone call. I think it was his mom
Uh-huh.
called him, and then that's when my friend Jeremy called me, and he said, he didn't know exactly where the house was. I said, I'll step outside.
Yeah.
I stepped outside, Jeremy showed up, and then we all went back in, and then we talked to Chris some more.
Okay.
At that point.
Anybody else there present other than the three of you guys?
Not I'm aware of. That was it. Just
Okay.
we kind of gathered in the kitchen, if you want to say, and then kind of outside on the driveway.
Okay. And he basically said he needed to lay down. At that point, you guys left
Yeah.
for the evening.
Yeah, he said I'm not sure. It wasn't like he said he was going to bed. He just was just gonna, lay down, and I don't know if he's rest his mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, yeah. So, I mean, I've been in contact with him ever since.
Mm-hmm.
My wife made some dinner for him last night. If he wanted,
Yeah.
he says, well, he was with, I guess y'all. He said he's with the FBI or something. I was like, well, he said he was done with you guys about midnight or something like that. I was like, wow. I said, okay. I said, well, if you want, it's still there. You can have
Yeah.
it tonight. So I just kind of been in constant contact because I figured he'd get some. I said, I know I'm not top on your priority list. I know parents and grandparents and now obviously, officials need to be. But I said I would like to be informed if you can, if you do get the opportunity. So that's been our conversation back.
What has he been telling you about what's been going on? Any specifics or details or anything like that?
No, just that he. Well, I guess some specifics. I guess he talked to the news,
Uh-huh.
and then I actually saw this morning on the internet. I'm not sure what channel it was, but they did like an interview with him. Let's see. Then obviously the Frederick police.
Yeah.
And then last night, that's when he said that he was with the FBI.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, wow. I'll let you go. Just let me know what's going on. And so that's about it.
So has he kind of has that theory changed, or has he basically still thought that she's voluntarily gone and with somebody, or has that changed to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, I don't know because I only seen him. What the hell is today? Wednesday.
Yeah.
Monday night. I didn't see him last night because he was gone, and then
Right.
I was going to see him tonight just to see what his. So I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
asked him that question. I
Okay.
just give me information if you hear anything.
Yeah.
So I was going to actually talk to him about that tonight when I saw him. Just say, hey, what are your thoughts still, dude?
Yeah. What do you think is going on and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Any I guess facts that he's told you about? Information that he's uncovered or he's discovered anything about their disappearance or anything like that at this point?
No, it's like I said, it's been pretty quick text messages
Yeah.
and a couple quick phone calls. Nothing really other than, it's just kind of, I guess, just honestly from my side, it's just baffling. I'm just trying to try to understand this, and I'm just hoping that, she disappeared, she's hiding out somewhere.
Right.
But by now, she has to know. It's plastered everywhere.
Right.
And according to him, he did talk to her mom. I guess her and her mom are super close. And I guess her mom knows nothing as well. So that's what scares me is like, someone's going to... I'm not... You guys, I don't deal with this every day, but I'm just saying, if I wanted to disappear, I'd still want to be in contact with somebody. I don't think... Not everybody has this CIA mentality where they can just disappear and never talk to nobody again.
Yeah.
And especially her. She's a very family-orientated lady. She loves her kids and all kinds of stuff. So she's not going to just vanish. That's just my perception of Shanann. So
that's actually my next question. Can you kind of describe her as a person and what you know about her? What you
yeah, she's. I could say she's a little overbearing, to be truly honest with you. That's my take of Shanann. But she's all in all, she's a good person. I know she's a good mom. She probably is like overbearing with her kids and just too much stuff. But whatever, that's just her kids. She can do whatever she wants. But no, she's. Generally she's a nice person. She's a good person. I've always got along with her. She's always treated me very pleasant.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. So yeah.
And within the marriage, you had mentioned you don't know the specific struggles they've been having lately, but in the past, has there been marital issues that you've been aware of?
As far as I know, no. As the joke goes, I always laugh with the Facebook. If everybody's lives were as great on Facebook as they actually were. I actually took her off Facebook because she posted every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty, and you can confirm that with probably anybody, but it's like, oh my God, okay, Celeste is doing okay. It was just kind of crazy. So, as far as that, I just thought they were as happy as a tick on a dog's back, as we say down south.
Yeah.
So it just, I was really honestly surprised. I always thought because their personalities. Chris is very non-combative. He's what's the right way of putting it?
Non-confrontational.
Yeah, non-confrontational. He's like perfect for her because she seems to like run things. I mean, she's like organizes this, gets this. We're going here, and if they're going on vacation, buys the ticket. She does all that. And Chris just kind of goes along with the flow. So and his personality is, like I said, very just hanging out. I'll just go with the flow kind of guy. So they seem like, I mean, to me, like really good. So they're not like A personalities clashing.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, thoroughly surprised. Thoroughly. Because I really thought they were cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they had two little girls, and I guess she's got another baby on the way. I don't know if they were boy or girl, but it's I don't know how far, I couldn't remember how far along she was, but
Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of financial problems, have you ever heard about financial problems or issues that they've been having?
No, I think they're to themselves with stuff like that. I think he does pretty good with Anadarko, and all I know is that she does some kind of Thrive.
Yeah.
Something like supplements or something. I don't know if she has any other source of income or not, but they seem like they are okay. But I don't know honestly what they're.
But nothing that's been made aware to you or
no. And I think they're pretty much to themselves. They like talk to our family and stuff, not friends about their financial situation. But no, they've never disclosed any of that to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is your sense of what's happened, just based on everything you know about the situation?
My sense, and it's kind of a hope as well as, I guess, as a gut feeling, is that she picked up and vanished on her own. And I hate speculating because.
Yeah. Well, I asked you to, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. So that's my thoughts on it. Just she's just
Whether your hope or your speculation.
Well, it's both. I'm speculating and I'm hoping that she's hiding out and everybody's okay. It's just, now maybe she's in this position. She's seeing all this going on and maybe she's scared out of her mind now, going, oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be in a lot of trouble with the law. I don't know. I don't know laws to say if she is or isn't, but that's my hope and speculation. Yes, that's what she's. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping like hell nobody was abducted and taken, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
I got kids, so it's kind of like.
Yeah. In terms of infidelity, have you ever been made aware, or even just thought that either party was being unfaithful, and the other, or had something going on the side?
No, not at all. I mean, if there ever was, I would throw it on Shanann, not Chris. Not just because they're both friends. I'd say Chris is more my buddy than Shanann.
Yeah.
But Chris, I would say if there ever was, it'd be Shanann. But as far as do I know, no.
Okay.
None.
All right.
Not that I've been aware of or given her information.
Yeah.
You mentioned that she's expecting. Do you know anything about that? Did Chris tell you about it, or?
No. How I found out was my wife is still friends with her on Facebook, if you want to say, and she said, did you know after the phone call came through, she goes, did you know Shanann was expecting? And I was like, no idea. I haven't talked to Chris for it's been a few months. Just busy, life is, the way life is, just, it's not, I mean, hell, we're right around the corner, and it's like, my oldest son lives in Loveland, I see him twice a year, so it's just life, it's just tough, but, I did not know she was pregnant.
Did he mention it on Monday when you were over there?
I can't remember if he said it. We talked about it, but I can't remember if he said it or I asked. Honestly, I don't remember if he said that she's pregnant. I don't know. We talked about it, but I don't remember who said what.
So there wasn't a reaction that you recall?
No.
About that?
No.
So, and you've mentioned Shanann being on Facebook quite a bit. Has Chris ever been on Facebook?
Chris at one time was, and it was kind of funny because I asked him because he was doing things that were, I hate to say it sounds sexist, but not guyish. Okay, so and I was like, I looked at it, I was like, did you really write all that shit? That's weird. So I asked him. Well, things like, oh my God, I have the most wonderful wife in the world. She made dinner. She does this. I don't know how she keeps up with all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying a guy can't give his wife props, but just the way it was worded, it sounded not, one, I know Chris, and it sounded more like, huh. So I asked him, I said, dude, what the heck? He goes, dude, I don't put that stuff on there. So she kind of ran his Facebook, and she was putting that stuff on there. So
is he no longer on Facebook?
yeah, he said he's not on there because I went to look it up after I heard. I went to look up his name and I couldn't find him anywhere. I went, oh, so yeah, he's not there no more.
Did you ever ask him why he's not on it, or?
No, I never did. I've kind of a couple times gone and go. I set it up a long time ago, mine for my business and because it works pretty good. People are like, oh, I didn't know you do that. They bring you work. I've kind of kept it. I've closed it down a few times, brought it back up because I like funny stuff. Sometimes there's some funny things. I'm a FSU guy, grad, so I like to keep up with my Seminoles, and so it's easier to do it through these little things that they have on there. So anyway, yeah, I don't know why he did though.
Okay.
Yeah, no idea.
You said that you hadn't talked to Chris in a few months just because of life, busyness.
Right.
When's the last time you saw Chris before Monday?
Last time I seen him was probably, it's been a while, I'd say 4 months ago, probably, if I'm thinking right, at the mailbox cluster. I think I ran into him and we kind of talked for a little bit just to catch up. He's asking about, because I started here like a year and a half ago, and he's asking about, just jobs and, how we're doing and everything. Just basic shit, same things, like how the kids, how Shanann, that kind of shit. So.
What about Shanann? When did you last talk to her?
It's been a long time since I talked to Shanann. I'd say at least a year. Yeah, she's.
What about seeing her?
I think I've seen her in the neighborhood. If I remember right, they were walking once. I think they had they had the babies with them, or I call them babies, but they had the kids with them, and they were walking, and they happened to come by I was out doing yard work or something, and just chatted with them for a little bit.
And when you were talking about this trial separation, is that a term that you just came up with, or something that Chris said?
I don't know if he said trial separation. He said they were separated and they were doing it. I don't know if he said trial or he said just see how they would be apart. That may have been my terms. I've heard that term before somewhere, so that may have been my terms.
And you live in the same neighborhood. Had they mentioned anything about their house moving, selling, anything like that?
No, not nothing. No signs, nothing about moving, nothing like that. No. I mean, we've kind of. It's kind of funny. I just bought some land down in Florida, and last time I talked to Shanann, she was like, "Oh my God, you did?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I'd move back to Florida. That's the only place back east. They don't want to go back to North Carolina for whatever, whatever. I like Florida, whenever people have their thing. But I bought some land down there, and so she said, "Yeah, if I ever move it." So that's the only thing about moving that was ever discussed. Was that? But it's not like they were going to do it. She just was kind of like, "Really? Where did you buy it?" And that's then questioning, where it is and all that stuff.
And then I think this is all I have. But you had mentioned that you met them. Did they both work at Longmont Ford? Yes,
he's a mechanic, or was a mechanic, and she was in sales. I can't remember who was there first. I don't think they came at the same time. And it was Chris. Chris got headhunted as a mechanic out there in North Carolina, and they brought him here to work at Ford. And then I think, if I remember, I don't know the time span, but somehow Shanann came in and started doing sales. And this is before they had any kids, too. So it was just the two of them. And then, whatever the reasons, they both split. They didn't want to be there anymore. And Chris got a better job at the Anadarko. And what she does, I don't know. Other than that, Thrive.
Okay. Is there anyone that you think that you should tell us that we need to go talk to about this?
Let me think.
We got Jeremy on the list.
You got Jeremy, okay, Jerry Lindstrom. The only other people I maybe have or haven't, I don't know their names, and I'm sorry, but they were when we moved into our house before, and Chris helped us move in. And then when their house was built, I returned the favor. And they were living with some folks in Anthem. I can't remember their names. I'll be honest with you, I cannot remember. And Chris would probably tell me who they. I don't have my phone. I'm not allowed to have my phone on me. But they lived in their basement for quite a while, probably a year, I guess. And I think they were pretty attached to those guys. But I think they now live in Parker. I think they moved from there, and they moved to Parker or something. They may. I mean, they must have been pretty good friends to move in with him and live in their basement for a year. Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure you probably talked to whoever that Nicole. I don't even know who Nicole is. I've never met her. Other than that, no, that's the only people I would know that would maybe know something.
On the topic of Jeremy, would you mind getting his phone number?
Yeah,
Just in case.
I'll have to walk you back, or
We can stay here if.
Oh no, I can. Is it the number you call me your cell?
Yeah.
I can text you Jeremy's
Okay,
number.
that would
yeah,
be good,
so
just in case we need to contact him. For
Okay,
a reason.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. When I get back, I'll do it right away, so I don't
Cool.
forget.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of that might be important for us? Like I said, we're just trying to, cross every base and talk to everybody that might have knowledge, and
Yeah.
that's what's led us here today.
Well, no, I don't really have anything else. If I do, I got your number, and
Perfect.
And I got your card, and I'll be for sure to get a hold of you if I hear anything or see anything or what have you. What was the I can't remember. What was not the charge, but what was they said on the news? What they're saying it's.
We try to avoid the news, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm sure. I totally get that. But they had it was not the charge, but what they were saying what was going on.
Like endangered missing person?
That's what it was. Endangered
Yeah.
missing person. I was like, that's a new one. What
Yeah.
does that mean? Because
Children are missing.
Yeah, children are missing, they need medication, that sort of thing.
oh, okay.
So it qualifies for that.
Okay. Any leads at all? Anything going on?
A lot of people we're talking to.
Okay.
So-
And I know you can't disclose it to me, but
Yeah.
I'm just concerned. I mean, mainly for the little girls. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you-
they're babies.
Do you have any concerns that Chris could be involved?
I really don't. I mean, you're not the first person who's said that, because when you talk about this.
Well, that's where everybody goes. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
the people closest to home.
Right. As far as I feel in my heart, I know Chris pretty well. Like I said, he's the lowest key guy I think I've ever met in my life. Go with the flow kind of guy, non-confrontational. But it's you see things almost daily now. There's all of a sudden people say that, and you're like, oh yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. So I mean, I understand nothing can be ruled out. But as far as Chris, in my heart, no, I don't think he had anything to do with anything. That's my.
Cool. Well, we appreciate your time, and like I said, if you wouldn't mind texting me that number, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day.
Yeah,
to do
no,
this for us.
no problem. Yeah, my supervisors are cool.
You like working here?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, when you work for yourself forever, everything is, you're chasing checks and work.
Yeah.
Now I'll have a military retirement, I'll have this retirement, and I'll go back to Florida and I'll be a beach bum.
Where is your property at, Florida?
Pensacola area?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so a little east, north of Pensacola, a
Uh-huh.
couple acres up there. It's like 20 minutes from the beach, but it's away from everybody if I don't want to be by anybody.
It was just an Orange Beach.
Oh, where? Oh,
Yeah.
Alabama?
Uh-huh.
I love it there.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty. Yeah, the white
For
sand
work,
beach.
so I didn't really get to
Yeah, down there, the white sand beaches, the water, turquoise water. It's just,
Yeah.
and people are so friendly.
And there's
And
some
it's
sport
cheap.
fishing too down there.
It's really, and it's cheap living. There's
Yeah.
no retirement tax, inheritance tax, state tax.
That's why everybody goes there.
Property taxes, exactly. Property tax is a little bit higher, but it's
Yeah.
really, all the other things wash it out and then some. So,
Well,
yeah.
enjoy.
It's a few years, but I got the first step done with that.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.